Welcome back to graveyarddance.com. Today, we have a spooky story in store for you. How many of you have heard about the murder of a woman named Teresita Basa? I know what you're thinking. There are a lot of true crime cases out there and murders that unfortunately happen every day. So, you're probably wondering what makes this particular case so scary. We'll get to all that in just a moment, but before we do all that, I have to tell you about a site that will change your life for the better if you go there. Eyesofadog.com is a nationwide animal rescue website, but at the same time, it's so much more. If you're looking for a dog or a cat, head on over to eyesofadog.com and see all the rescues in your area. Just click your state, scroll down, and find your city or town. They also have an up-and-coming YouTube channel. If you love animals, and we're sure you do, you'll want to subscribe to their YouTube and their other social medias while you're there. Grab a drink and a snack, cuddle up with your favorite other, and enjoy the spookiness of Graveyard Dance. Don't forget to tell your friends all about us. Imagine hearing about a ghost helping to solve a real-life murder. It sounds like something straight out of a movie or a spooky Halloween story, right? But believe it or not, this really happened in Chicago in 1977 when a woman named Teresita Basa was killed, and her ghost reportedly helped find her killer. Let's dive into this strange and mysterious case and how it all unfolded. Teresita Basa was an ordinary woman living in Chicago. She had moved from the Philippines to the United States and worked as a respiratory therapist at a hospital, helping people with breathing problems. She was 47 years old and lived by herself in an apartment. On February 21st, 1977, something terrible happened. Teresita was found dead in her apartment. Her body was discovered after firefighters responded to a fire in her building. When they put out the flames, they found Teresita's body under a burning mattress, and it was clear she had been murdered. When the police first investigated Teresita's death, they didn't have many clues. They couldn't figure out why anyone would want to hurt her. She didn't seem to have any enemies, and nothing about the crime made sense. The police were stuck, and for months, her case went cold. It was obvious that the person who killed Teresita set the fire to try and hide the evidence. But who did it and why? The police looked into all of her friends, family, and co-workers, but couldn't find any leads. It seemed like the case might never be solved. This is where the story takes a spooky turn. A few months after Teresita's murder, one of her co-workers, a woman named Remy Chua, started having strange experiences. Remy worked at the same hospital as Teresita, but they weren't particularly close. Still, something very weird began happening to her. Remy began having dreams about Teresita. In these dreams, Teresita would appear, looking like she had something important to say. At first, Remy brushed off the dreams, thinking they were just her mind playing tricks on her. But the dreams kept happening, and they were getting stranger. One night, Remy was at home with her husband, Joe, when something unbelievable occurred. Remy seemed to fall into a trance, almost like she was asleep, but still awake. When she spoke, it wasn't in her usual voice. Instead, she claimed to be Teresita. Through Remy, Teresita's spirit spoke. According to the story, the ghost said that she knew who killed her. She named a man named Alan Showery, saying he was the one who attacked her, stole her jewelry, and set the fire to cover up the crime. Remy's husband, Joe, was completely shocked. At first, Joe wasn't sure what to think. Was his wife really being visited by Teresita's ghost? It seemed too unbelievable to be true, but the details were so specific that he started to wonder if they should do something about it. After discussing it with his wife, Joe decided to tell the police what they had experienced. It was a strange tip, and they weren't sure if the police would take them seriously. After all, it's not every day that a murder investigation is helped by a ghost. When detectives Joseph Stachula and Lee Eplin first heard the story, they were skeptical. They couldn't believe that a ghost was giving them clues. But at the same time, they didn't have any other leads, and the information about Alan Showery seemed oddly specific. As strange as this story is, we did another story you may want to check out, which can also be found on graveyarddance.com, and that is the story of the Greenbrier ghost that happened in the late 1800s. Just look for this thumbnail pic here and check out that amazing story. Where were we? Oh yeah, the The detectives started looking into Alan Showery, a man who worked as a technician at the hospital where Teresita worked. They found out that he had been to Teresita's apartment on the day she was killed, supposedly to fix a TV for her. As they dug deeper, the police discovered that Alan Showery had been having money troubles. This gave them a possible motive. Maybe he killed Teresita to steal from her. But they needed more proof before they could make an arrest. One of the key details that Teresita's ghost had revealed through Remy was that Showery had taken some jewelry from her apartment and given it to his girlfriend. This seemed like a big clue, but they still needed to confirm it. The police tracked down Showery's girlfriend and asked her about the jewelry. To their surprise, she admitted that Showery had recently given her some jewelry as a gift. When they showed the items to Teresita's family, they confirmed that the jewelry had belonged to Teresita. With this new evidence, the police confronted Alan Showery. At first, he denied everything. But with the pressure mounting and the stolen jewelry in the picture, Showery finally broke down and confessed to the crime. Thanks to Teresita's ghostly visit to Remy Chua, the police were able to solve the case. Showery was arrested and charged with the murder of Teresita Basa. It was a shocking development, not only because the case had seemed unsolvable, but also because of how it had been solved. During his confession, Showery admitted that he had gone to Teresita's apartment to rob her. He attacked her, took her valuables, and then set the fire to cover his tracks. Everything matched what Teresita's ghost had said through Remy. When Alan Showery's trial began in 1979, the story of the ghost was the talk of the town. Everyone was fascinated by how Teresita's spirit had supposedly helped catch her own killer. But in court, the prosecutors focused on the real evidence, the confession and the stolen jewelry. Even though the ghost story was part of how the police got the tip, it wasn't used much in the actual trial. The judge and lawyers wanted to focus on the facts that could be proven, like the jewelry and Showery's confession. Alan Showery's defense team tried to argue that the confession had been made under pressure and that there was no real proof he had committed the murder. But with so much evidence stacked against him, it was hard for the defense to make a strong case. In the end, the jury found Alan Showery guilty of murder. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison. The strange and spooky details surrounding the case didn't change the fact that justice had been served. The case of Teresita Basa is one of the most bizarre true crime stories ever. It's not every day that a ghost helps solve a murder. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, there's no denying that this case is truly unique. People have different opinions about what really happened. Some believe that Teresita's ghost really did communicate with Remy Chua to bring her killer to justice. Others think that Remy might have subconsciously picked up on clues or details about the murder without realizing it. Some skeptics say that Remy Chua may have known something about the case or heard rumors that led her to guess the murderer's identity. Others believe that it was just a coincidence that her story lined up with the truth. Paranormal investigators who study ghostly and supernatural events often point to the Teresita Basa case as one of the best examples of a ghost helping to solve a crime. It's a case that still fascinates people today. In the Philippines, where Teresita was from, there is a strong belief in spirits and ghosts. Some people think that these cultural beliefs might have made it easier for Teresita's spirit to reach out to someone like Remy, who shared similar beliefs. Remy Chua and her husband were deeply affected by what happened, but they didn't seek fame or attention because of it. They simply believed they were helping to solve a crime. Remy said she wasn't even particularly close to Teresita when she was alive, which made the experience even stranger. Psychologists have suggested that maybe Remy's mind was trying to process the traumatic event of her co-worker's death, and that's why she had the dreams and trances. But no one knows for sure. When the news broke that a ghost had reportedly helped solve the case, it caused a media frenzy. Newspapers and TV stations couldn't get enough of the strange story. People everywhere were talking about it. Chicago was both fascinated and shocked by the case. Not only had a terrible crime taken place, but the way it was solved was unlike anything people had heard before. It left many wondering if there really was something supernatural at play. Most of us think of ghosts as something from scary stories or haunted houses. But the Teresita Basa case made people wonder, could ghosts really exist? And if they do, could they help solve crimes? Even though the case is over and justice was served, the story of Teresita Basa still haunts people today. It's a story that has been told and retold, and it always sparks curiosity and wonder. Teresita Basa is remembered not just as a victim of a terrible crime, but as someone whose story brought a sense of mystery and intrigue to the world of true crime. Her case is one that people will always remember. To this day, no one knows for sure how Remy Chua came to know the details of Teresita's murder. Was it really the ghost of Teresita? Or was there another explanation? It's a question that might never be answered. Some people think that maybe Remy had a strong sense of intuition that helped her solve the case without even realizing it. Whatever the reason, her experience was crucial in bringing the killer to justice. While the ghost story is fascinating, it's important to remember that Teresita Basa was a real person with a life, friends, and family. Her tragic death and the strange way it was solved make her story unforgettable. Even though the case is over, the story of Teresita Basa and her ghost continues to be talked about. It has appeared in books, documentaries, and TV shows, keeping the mystery alive. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the case of Teresita Basa is a strange but true tale that shows how sometimes the truth can be stranger than fiction. In the end, Teresita Basa's ghost, if you believe the story, helped bring her killer to justice. It's a case that will always stand out as one of the most bizarre and unforgettable in true crime history. That's all for this week. Have you ever heard the story of Teresita Basa? And what do you think? Was it a ghost? Was it just another person's intuition? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, please take just a second and smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. It helps so much. You don't even know, we truly appreciate it. Grab a shirt, hoodie, or mug too while you're checking out the site. Your friends will surely think you're the coolest in it. Thanks again, and see you next time at graveyarddance.com.